This is a production of kmmedia.pro. Welcome back to Positive Talk Radio. Our goal is simple: to explore evolving ideas one conversation at a time. So come on over into our world. I know you'll like it, because on today's show, we got a good show for you today on Kixie. I hope everybody stays with us for the entire hour. I've got a lot of stuff to talk about and a lot of stuff to go through, one of which is we're going to be talking with Jason Medlock. He is a level 2 quantum healing hypnotist, a mindset coach, and an energy healer. But first, I have to talk to my friend Eric, because something important has happened this week.
What's that, Kevin? Good afternoon and happy Friday, by the way.
Happy Friday to you. And this is a day that will go down in history.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. It's 60 years in the making. And that is the Beatles, who I know that you know that I'm a very big fan of. I have always been. They just released a brand new song called Now and Then. And it was 60 years in the making, and two of them have been gone for a long time, but it's amazing. This is one of those things where AI is really helpful, and it can bring back.
Okay, if you'll excuse my skepticism, you are a Beatles fan, and I like the Beatles, but you're a much bigger fan than I am. Do you like this new song? Do you think that this was a worthwhile endeavor?
If I didn't know what I know, which is that half of them can't do a retake, I think that I would have had the voices do a retake, and maybe they did. The instrumentation is great, but I think that John Lennon's voice, it was recorded into a cassette in 1978. And so it's been around a while, and they upgraded it and stuff. But I think if you were to sit down and talk to them directly, if they were all four here, they would say we can do better than that.
Most likely. I mean, the post Lennon death Beatles stuff is always a little bit strange, because the Beatles were a collaboration, and you can't really collaborate with somebody properly if they're no longer with us. But I got to admit, some of those, stuff that they've, reconstructed since, Lennon's passing has been, pretty interesting and pretty decent. This one, I'm not so sure on, but, if it's making people happy, then that's fantastic. That's all I need. Just, enjoy.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you would think it's kind of like in the White Album. For those that might remember the White Album, they did a lot of different songs, but some of them they didn't work as long on as others that they did, and so some of them just called it good. Whereas in the normal, like if you look at Abbey Road,
how long do you think they spent on the lyrics for Number 9? Number 9.
I wonder about that song. I don't listen
upwards of 9 minutes or less.
Yes, and the other one that strikes me as being one that is very poetic is "Why Don't We Do It in the Road?" And it's one
they
of those. They
never specify what it is, so
no, they never do.
It's open for interpretation, but yeah, and some were better than others.
Some were better than others, and this is since John and George are no longer with us, this is the best shot that they had. Although I got to tell you, without George's voice in there, the harmonies aren't nearly as strong as they would be if all three were singing.
Yeah,
and Paul, after all, is 81 years old, so
that's true.
And his voice is not what it was when he was 25, so that happens. But anyway, it was a fun little deal that, and I hope everybody listens to it. Make up your own mind as to what you think about it. But you can always drop me a line too at kevin@kmmedia.pro and let me know what you think of it. But we've got a great guest today for you, and we're going to talk about how you can live your best life and some of the things that you can do to do that through meditation, mindset, performance. and energy healing and all kinds of different modalities that he is very, very gifted in. His name is Jason Wedlock. And Jason, I would love, or Medlock, I meant to say. Jason, how are you?
I'm doing great, Kevin. How are you?
I'm doing great too, and it's great to have you here. And now you didn't know about the Beatles release of the song, so you probably haven't listened to it. So I won't ask your opinion on it.
I know the technology, you can come out with a song on Michael Jackson. These guys have such a huge catalog that they can piece these songs together, and they can probably create songs forever.
Yeah, they probably can. It makes me kind of sad that people have to get old or get shot or get shot or get cancer or whatever their demise was. But we're going to talk about some positive things today, and we're going to talk to you about being a mindset coach, a healing hypnotist, and you work with people in all aspects of their lives. If you want to quit smoking, call Jason. Want to quit drinking? Call Jason. If you want to learn how to be better in business, hey, why don't you call Jason? If you if you want to learn how to do virtually anything in life, if you want to be a better golfer, hey, call Jason. He can help you. And so I haven't misstated that at all, have I?
Well, I mean, hypnosis can allow you to do things that you didn't think you could do. And we know that, and through even scientific research, science has found this. We know that when we watch television, and we're really, really focused on that football game or that soap opera or whatever the case may be, our brainwave shifts to the theta brainwave state, which is a state of concentration. We know that when advertisers are playing commercials during the Super Bowl, that's the most suggestive time that they know that they can get to the audience by running the commercial, the subliminal messages. So hypnosis works on the same premise. So if we can get you to a certain level of relaxation and move the brainwave state down to a level of theta or even somnambulistic, that's a deep level, we can make suggestions on whatever it is you're trying to improve in your life.
Now, let's be clear here because I want to make sure. I'm sure a lot of people have gone to Vegas or someplace, and there's a hypnotist on stage, and he gets people up and then makes them do silly things and that sort of thing. This isn't what we're talking about here. We're talking about you still know where you're at, even when you're in hypnosis, don't you?
You do, and that's stage hypnosis, and that's a certain type of hypnosis. I don't practice stage hypnosis, but yeah, you actually know what you're doing. You're in the session. You're aware, just like when athletes train, they train in the theta brainwave state. They are focused, but they're aware of everything's going around. They can hear the cars when they're working out on the football field. So hypnosis is the exact same thing. You're lying in the chair. We've helped you visualize, and visualization is very important, and trust is very important when you're having a hypnosis session. So let's just take, for example, you're wanting to lose weight. So the first thing I'm going to want to know, Kevin, is can I get you to visualize, see a car, see a red bird, see an airplane in the air? Those are some of the questions I'll ask. And if you can say, yes, I can see that. Yes, I can visualize that. Then great. The second thing is trust. You have to have a trust of the person who's performing this therapy session with you. No different than saying a counselor, marriage counselor, someone who's helping you through, let's just say post-traumatic stress disorder. You trust your therapist. It's the same thing with hypnotherapy. But if I can get you to trust, and if I can get you to visualize, and if I can get you to relax, the session is a wrap. I mean, we're able to then and Kevin, I get all of my information from the actual client. They'll sit in the office or we'll be online, and I'll say, well, tell me what's going on. You mentioned in the intake form, that's the form I have them fill out. You mentioned in the intake form that you're eating late at night and it's really, really hindering you trying to lose weight. So tell me what is going on. They'll go through all kind of things that's been happening and when they were a child, and and they always had a full plate, and their mom made them eat every inch of the food on their plate. And I'm just writing stuff down, And the more I write down, and the more that I listen and continue to write, then when I get ready to have the session with them, I use the exact same words that they're using to explain everything, and I shift them all into, you are not the same person you were when you were 12 years old. Eating everything on your plate is okay, but it needs to be in proportion. We do not need to eat after 10 o'clock. So I use those same words and I move them in a positive way. And I am actually, it's just like a hard drive, Kevin. Old limited beliefs, the same old thought processes on this hard drive. Just the software has been sitting there for 20, 30 years. And we come in and we want to rewrite this hard drive with new software. And the new software are the I ams, and you will not. And you are able to do this. So it's a reprogramming process of the brain, which I call hardware or the hard drive. And we're rewriting the hard drive and implementing new software, so that you can change the way you think. And when I'm a mindset coach as well, whether it's business, whether I'm working with an athlete, whether it's a sales rep, sales team, when I'm doing group hypnosis, it's the same process of trying to figure out where this team is, where this player is, where this executive is, and figuring out where the limited thinking is and the limited beliefs and the blockages that he may be experiencing or she may be experiencing, and trying to rewrite that hard drive with new software.
What's interesting about it, I've done hypnosis, and what I've learned in that process is that it's not like, as you're going through your day, and it's not like you're aware that and you're wanting something. It just, for whatever reason, it just doesn't come up. It's like it just doesn't. And so days will go by, and you'll go, now, why aren't I doing that? Why don't I care whether I'm doing that or not? It doesn't even cross my mind anymore. Isn't that the goal of hypnosis? Is to change the mindset and to change the hard wiring so that you don't even think about it anymore. So you're not suffering because of it.
Yeah, and people often ask, well, how long does it take? And what kind of effects will I have? Well, you can't sit there and say to yourself, I don't feel like I'm hypnotized. I don't feel anything. You're not going to feel anything. It's about being relaxed. At its core, in particularly, quantum healing hypnosis, it aims to facilitate deep relaxation. And it guides you into this state of heightened awareness. I mean, you are aware, but it's heightened, just like you're watching the game. And we refer to that as the theta state. And so, again, in this state, individuals believe that they can really, really access the subconscious mind and the higher self, which is the source of your being, which is your God, your ability to reason. We can access that, and it'll reveal insights. I mean, memories and experiences from different lifetimes. And you can use that type of hypnosis to do anything. We can locate abuse from the parent in a different lifetime that is showing up currently in your lifetime, and you're abusive to your daughter, you're abusive to your wife. We can use this type of hypnosis to really, really, really dig deep. And for instance, Kevin, when you were just saying, I mean, do people really know that they're in it? Do they, they know they know that they're in it? They don't realize that they're so deep in a trance that we can typically make all the suggestions that we need to, just because they're so relaxed. And when you get that relaxed, then I'm able to help you with the post-traumatic stress disorder. I'm able to help you with the depression. you'll have 3 good days, Kevin, and then you'll have 2 bad days where you're locked in the room, the lights are off, and it's just dark, and you are crying profusely, and you don't know why. You have no clue on why you just all of a sudden, just you're in the dumps. But quantum healing hypnosis can uncover the true understanding of why. And it's not me giving the answers. It's actually the client giving the answers. I record every session I do. I videotape every session I do. And when I play the tape back for the client, once I've finished answering getting all the answers that the client wants, and I'll ask, for example, why is David dealing with these dark moments of depression? And the client will answer, while he's in this deep, relaxed state, because David is afraid of what happened to him when he was a child. And it's amazing to hear the client talk in third person as if they weren't the ones talking, someone else is talking for them. And I typically, using quantum healing hypnosis, I typically can find out where's the root cause of the issue and then ask, can we move past this issue so that David can live a successful life in the lifetime he's living right now? And the answer most of the time is yes, we can move past this issue and David should be fine from here on out. So I like to tell my clients, once we finish the session, once I debrief them, once I play the tape and they hear that enriched voice, this energy filled voice, they're like, who is that? And I'm like, that's you speaking to me. And it takes about 3 days after we finish the session and the clients get immediate results. I kid you not, Kevin.
Oh no, I believe it.
Yes.
And again, a couple of things that you said that I just wanted to touch on, and
Sure.
that is you talked about past lives.
Yes.
I want to tell our audience, because there are some in our audience who may say, "Oh, now you're talking woo-woo stuff," and stop it.
Yes.
But I want to tell you that there's enough research now with Dolores Cannon, with Dr.
Mhm.
Michael Newton, with many others that have gone back in hypnosis and taken people really deep, and they have experienced past lives, and many of them have been documented, meaning
Yes.
that they've gone back to that person that was maybe in the 1800s or whatever, and they found them in the city that they said that they were in, and what they were doing. So it's a real thing. It's not a woo-woo thing. It's a real thing. And if you want to know that for a fact, all you got to do is ask any athlete, especially pro athletes that are out there today.
And the thing about it is, you mentioned Dolores Cannon. One of the unique hallmark features of QHHT, which is quantum healing hypnosis technique, is past life regression. That's how Dolores Cannon was a clinical hypnotherapist who was trying to perfect a different kind of technique that would get you deeper than just regular clinical hypnosis. And she stumbled upon past life regression. And she wrote the book, 5 Lives Remembered. Astonishing research she did. She had a young lady who her and her husband, they were doing just regular clinical hypnosis, and they were just testing different, guided, scripts. They were testing different things to induce the client, the patient, to sort of move deeper than just regular clinical. And all of a sudden, when they said, "Where are you at now? Can you hear me?" The lady was in the roaring 40s, in the 20s, the 30s in New York, and she was talking about all the fancy car that she's driving in. And I have this fur coat, honey. And Dolores was like, okay. And they talked and talked and talked. And she moved her from that place to a different place, to a different time. And she was a former. She was male this time. Her voice had totally changed. And she moved her to another place. And she was the wife of a baseball player, a New York Yankee. And then she moved into another place. She was living in Phoenix, Arizona. Thus, the book Five Lies Remembered came out, and the world was in a frenzy. And Dolores Cannon has been just the talk ever since. But clients explore memories and experiences from past lives that might influence their current life circumstances. And this exploration that we do is often intended to provide insight and healing, because we're able to actually figure out why you're dealing with breast cancer. Why is why do you have knee problems? We can figure this out now. And like you said, it's a lot of research out there. We can figure this out now through past life regression. One more thing, Kevin. Eczema, the skin, the irritation with your skin.
Yeah.
Dolores Cannon, through all her studies and research, has eczema. She's figured out eczema represents being burned in a different lifetime.
Oh my.
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting. Now, are you familiar with Dr. Michael Newton's work?
I know who he is, but I'm not totally familiar with his work.
One of my favorite books of all time is
Yes.
A Journey of Souls.
Yes.
And in that book, and tell me if this has been your experience with hypnosis, a man came to him and said, I've had this pain in my side for years. I don't know. I've gone to doctors. They can't find anything wrong with me, but it's always there. It's always this pain. And they said, well, let's put you under hypnosis. They put him into the deep hypnosis that you're talking about.
Mhm.
And he said he was a soldier in World War I.
Yes.
So because Dr. Newton is a bit of a history buff, he said, what was the insignia that you were wearing? What's on your arm? Look at your arm. What's your arm, the insignia say? And he found out that he was in France in a major battle in World War I. And he was bayoneted on the same side that has bothered him ever since. And so they worked that out. And after the hypnosis session, and you can look this up in this book, A Journey of Souls, after that session was done, the pain was gone. Has that been your experience at some point?
That is the exact same experience that we find in quantum healing. And it's one of the things where we facilitate this communication with the client's higher self. And, that concept, encompasses the client's higher conscience, and their spiritual essence, actually speaking to us. And they become a part of the entire process of trying to figure out, what is going on with Johnny. And they offer profound insight and guidance and healing suggestion to the client. But the client is actually the one doing the talking. We're only leading the session. That's all we're leading. And we're trying to get to a healing resolution. So the higher self, literally, we're asking it, why is John still experiencing the earache? Okay. And, the higher self answers. He was beaten as a child. And, he always would cover his ears up with his hands so that he wouldn't hear all the nasty things his mother was saying to him. It's things like that, Kevin, that move with you to different lifetimes, issues, traumas, challenges that you've had. And the reason why the gentleman who was bayoneted was able to be cleared so that he wouldn't have the pain anymore, because I guarantee you that the hypnotherapist asked this one question: does he need to experience this in this lifetime? No. Well, can we remove this issue in this lifetime? Yes. How will you do it? We're reprogramming him now. This is the higher self speaking on tape, and the person is coming out of the person's mouth. So when people say, "Oh, that's woo 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 woo," no, it's not it's not the practitioner or the actual hypnotherapist. We have this stuff all recorded, and it is so amazing to really understand that we can actually do this on our own with self-hypnosis. We can actually heal ourselves. We can actually get the same type of healing. We're just not conditioned that way in this society, Kevin, with all the hustle and the bustle and the construct of our, the society that we live in. We're not taught these type of techniques, but Eastern medicine, this is prevalent. This type of deep relaxation, meditation, using yoga to move your consciousness, using meditation to move your consciousness to wherever you want it to be. We look at that as woo woo in the Western culture, but it's not. It offers a number of healing opportunities for any kind of physical ailment, just through the process of understanding and forgiveness.
It's interesting because I've been through this process. I had this. I went into a deep hypnosis process with someone, and they were recording it, and they were asking me questions, and I
Mhm.
was answering just like you said in the third person, and
Yes.
knew I was talking, and I knew that I was saying things, but I wasn't concentrating on what I was saying. I was just letting it flow. And then we played it back, and my voice was different. My voice was more profound. The things that I said, I had no idea what I had said, but it was absolutely true and stuff. So I'm a firm believer. And if you talk to any major athlete who is like a professional athlete, they all have access and they are working in this way of better mindset, how to set their intentions to make that tackle or to hit that ball straight or and all of these things. And so it's a real thing, and it can be something that people can take advantage of.
It's a
And
real thing. And the number one athlete in the world, LeBron James, in plain sight, he talks about it in his press conferences all the time. LeBron, how do you intend to come back for game 6? Well, I know what to do with my body, and I'll get my body together. For me, it's my mind. It's my mindset. As the mind goes, the body goes. So if I can get my mindset right, then I'll be fine. In plain sight, he talks about the immense amount of mindset training that he gets. Think about it though, Kevin. You're saying it for the audience to hear. These high end, top level athletes. It's a reason why they're different. It's a reason why there's Tom Brady and then there's Baker Mayfield. Tom Brady's mind. He has coaches behind the scene. Aaron Rodgers will even tell you he's an ayahuasca guy. He's he's on a different level of thinking. He understands that there are layers of consciousness that comes into play. These guys are with spiritual coaches. Some of these guys, they'll never tell you. Some of these guys are with high level mindset coaches, high level hypnotherapists, sports psychologists, and all that stuff is the same, that work on their well-being and their mind and to keep it at a high level. So you're right.
It's interesting. There's a quarterback that used to be, excuse me, in our area named Russell Wilson,
Yes.
and he had a mindset coach who had suddenly he got sick and passed away.
Oh man.
If you look at the difference in Russell Wilson's play before that tragedy happened and after that tragedy happened, there's a difference. There's a visible difference in his ability to do what he did before, because that gentleman reached him and was able to get into his mind and create the mindset that he needed, that he may not have that person around him
I,
or someone
I'm
like that.
I'm glad you said that, Kevin, because there are a lot of us out here that can do the same thing, but trust. Russell Wilson's trust. And once anyone gives up and says, I trust you. Oh my God, the healing happens, the the effectiveness in anything you want to do, it happens. This whole hypnosis, quantum healing hypnosis, operates within a metaphysical framework, and the effectiveness of this technique is really based on your personal beliefs, your trust, and the previous experiences that you've already had. So if you come from a background that anything's possible, I mean, I believe I can do anything. But if you come from a background of limited thinking, we ain't gonna never have no money. I'm always broke. Yeah, it's gonna be hard to reach you unless you can sort of change unless you trust in the person who's gonna bring you out of it. But trust is why Russell Wilson probably hadn't been able to settle into another guy that can offer him the same service.
It really is amazing, because trust is one of my favorite words in the English language, because it's really important. By the way, we're talking with Jason Medlock. You can go to jasonmedlock.com and find out all about him, and you can call him and talk to him. He's got lots and lots of different ways that he can help you through hypnosis and some other modalities that he works with. We need to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about the book he's written, Empowered by Consciousness, and we're going to talk more with Jason in just a minute. Don't go away. This is really good stuff, and if I could be so bold, I can tell you that if you've tried everything else, this can help you do whatever it is that you're trying to get done. So thank you very much, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Thank you to our dedicated fans. We are updating our live on-air schedule to make it super easy for you to hang out with us 5 days a week, Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We broadcast on YouTube, Facebook, and live on Fridays with Kixie 8:80 a.m. Seattle Live. You can find our library to binge all the podcast platforms. We can't wait to see you at 3 p.m. Monday through Friday, starting September 4th, Labor Day 2023.
Hello, everybody. If I could have your attention, please, I have an important announcement to make just for you. As you may know, PTR is heard and seen on radio, KKNW, and now Kixie, several websites, podcasts, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and most social media. At PTR, we believe in working together to make the world a better place, and because you're listening, we know that you're dedicated to the same. So we'd like to support your efforts by offering an outstanding multimedia package for you at a deeply discounted rate. As our partner, you'll receive commercial creation, both video and audio, at least 10 commercial plays per week, a monthly show to highlight your business and passion, exclusive website positioning with links, video shorts for social media, commercial plays on all shows, podcasts, KKNW, and Kixie. Your commercial is embedded into each episode and as a podcast is sent to over 50 different platforms. All shows are performed live and sent to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and stay there forever. Your podcast episodes are provided to you to use as you see fit. This one-time offer is only $250 a week, based on a 13-week commitment, and as our partner, we are vested in your success, and will do everything in our power to make it happen. However, there are limited spots available, so don't hesitate. Please email me at kevin@kmmedia.pro, and let's get the ball rolling.
When you want to say more than words communicate, you can with flowers. Your custom boutique floral studio in Bothell, Washington is anaturaldesign.com, connecting you to nature through the language of flowers. Where your people are is where our flowers are beautiful. Your success is our goal. anaturaldesign.com at your fingertips today.
Hey there, I would personally like to thank you for making Positive Talk Radio part of your day. Whether you like podcasts or the radio show, we're glad to have you along. I'd love to hear from you with thoughts about the show and ways that we can make it even better. You are the reason we do these shows, because the more people we can touch, the better we can make the planet and our time here just magnificent. Please contact me, Kevin, at kmmedia.pro with any thoughts, comments, or suggestions, and thank you for being in my dream. And welcome back to Positive Talk Radio. It's Friday. It's 3:38 or so, and I hope you're having a great day. You can look forward to. It's going to be a little windy tomorrow, so make sure you got your alternative light source nearby just in case you lose power, because that's going to be a possibility. And we're talking with Jason Medlock, and Jason, I got to tell you, in that last little bit, I said thank you and welcome to my dream. That is absolutely a true statement on my part, because all of this radio show, the podcast, the websites, all of that stuff was created out of thin air by me and some close personal friends to create something great for people to listen to. And I consider that a mindset that I've had for the last 20 years, and it's worked really well for me. And trust me, if I can do it, whatever it is you choose that you want to do, you can do it too. And Jason is somebody that can help you get that done. So I want to thank you for being here. I'm having a great time talking to you. Let's talk a little bit about your book, Powered by Consciousness.
Yeah, Empowered by Consciousness. The first week it came out, it was a #1 bestseller. And then a couple of days later, it was a national bestseller because of this algorithm they have on Amazon. I was under the 35,000 percentile of the number of books. So they have millions of books on Amazon, and I was ranked in that 35,000 portion. So they sent another banner to me and said, "Hey, you're a national bestseller as well." So I thought that was cool. And we were #1 in the hypnosis category of new releases for hypnosis, and in the second week. So just going on week 3, and we're still hanging in there. But I wrote Empowered by Consciousness with a lot of things in mind. I set forth a number of objectives. I wanted to primarily recount my spiritual journey and all the wisdom that I had picked up on my way while I was, studying all these modalities. But ultimately, I wanted it to be a resource for other people. I kind of envisioned this book being a compass of some sorts, Kevin, just for people who were, wanting to venture beyond what they already knew, beyond the boundaries of their everyday thinking. And what I've done is I've got a chapter on meditation, a chapter on spirituality, a chapter on psychedelics, and we hadn't really touched on psychedelics a lot.
No.
A chapter on law of attraction. I have an entire chapter on manifestation, on different techniques that I've used with a number of people, clients, the 5-5-5 technique, 7-7-7 technique, 3-3-3 technique. Writing it down 3 times a day, whatever it is you want. Writing it down 3 times each, 3 times a day for 3 weeks in a row. So then 5-5-5, 7-7-7. Those, accordingly. The water alchemy technique was a beautiful manifestation technique, and also the most famous 3-6-9 technique. I have a entire section on energy healing. Kevin, there are alternative ways of healing. You can use energy to heal, but it's not in lock and step with pharmaceutical companies. It's just it doesn't make money. The session is only $65, $75. So they don't want us practicing these natural techniques of moving energy in your body that could be, your heart chakra or your sacral chakra could be out of alignment. And you can use, like in Reiki energy healing, you can use your hands to generate this heat to align the body. And so I write about that. I write about the law of attraction. I write about, I'm a remote viewer, and the audience might say, well, what is that? Remote viewing is being able to move your conscience to anywhere, any place within this realm, in the universe, in space, down the street to your mom's house, and locate unknown objects. So remote viewing, I've used that in various different ways. You know who Ingo Swann? Ingo Swann is the most talked about psychic medium in the history of the U.S. And Ingo Swann was involved with the CIA, and I think we talked about that. And he was involved with the CIA, And Ingo Swann had a private session with the CIA. They wanted him to remote view a secret location, and he couldn't talk about it until 10 years afterwards. And he got the coordinates, and I'm pretty sure somebody in the audience has already heard this. So he went off these set of coordinates, and he moved his consciousness to these coordinates that they gave him. And little did he know, he was remote viewing the moon. So when he got there, he's like, okay, this is the moon. And you're like, what do you mean when he got there? You can literally move your consciousness as if it's you, because we are conscious beings. We are spirits. These avatars, they won't last long, but our energy will live forever. So he moved his consciousness to the moon, and he was remote viewing different areas, and he saw a glowing dome on the moon. He's like, I see something glowing. Move in 50 feet. Then tell us what you see. He moves in closer. There were these humanoid type beings that he observed. And they told him to move in 15 feet. He moves in closer. He's peering through a window. And then he's observing these humanoid type beings in here working and doing industrial things. And then they turn around and look back. They see him. So he tells one of the directors at the CIA who's overseeing the session, they see me. He says, get out of there now. Pull back, pull back, pull back. He came back to Earth. And the story goes, and it's in his book, and it's a lot of YouTube videos out there on it. He says, why didn't you tell me they were psychic? So remote viewing is an interesting topic. The subconscious mind, I write about that. But so Empowered by Consciousness is a collection of all these different spiritual modalities in one book. And I bought a ton of books trying to learn about each one. But then I said, you know what? I'm gonna put everything in one book so that it's a guide. A lot of research and a lot of fun, easy read. So I implore the audience to go pick it up. It's at Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and all the national retailers. But yeah, it was a fun project to work on.
Well, I'm glad it's doing well, because I think we need to expand our consciousness to understand some of these things. Can I tell you a quick story?
Sure.
When I was just getting started and doing KKNW back in 2003, I knew very little about energy work and about mediumship and that kind of stuff. Well, one of the gals I worked with, her name is Kim, and she was a psychic medium, and I brought her onto the show on a regular basis. Well, really early on, within 2 weeks of starting the show, my sister-in-law had passed away, and we were going to have her memorial service. And so on the show, at the end of the show, it was like on a Friday, and the memorial service was Saturday. And I said, does Sandy have anything that she would like us to know? And this was a bit of a test on my part. And she said, well, for me, when people pass away, they've got an agenda. They're doing a lot of different things, and so it's hard to contact them within that short of a period of time. But she says, and Jason was just clapping, so he agrees. But she said something about yellow roses. So I go home. I talk to my wife. Did Sandy like yellow roses? She says, I don't know. But she honored it, and we went to look for yellow roses, couldn't find any, so we picked up some yellow carnations and took it to her house, where we're meeting her husband and parents and stuff, and then we're going to the cemetery. It's the same cemetery that Jimi Hendrix is buried, and up in Renton. And so we were standing in the parking lot, and we're talking. We're all dressed up in our suits, and Sandy's group comes in, and they're on Harleys, wearing their colors, because that was their standard dress. And then I see this flower truck pull up to where the service was going to be, and that reminded me, okay, yellow roses. Sandy said something about yellow roses. So we went and we signed the register, and we all went into the chapel. and we all sat down, and I was dumbfounded because first
Wow.
of all, in the front of the chapel was this beautiful flower arrangement that the centerpiece were yellow roses throughout all of the different things. But then I looked to the right, and there was an easel, and this easel was in the shape of a heart, and the heart had white carnations on the outside of it, and in the middle of it were yellow roses in the shape of a heart.
Wow.
And my Kim had never met Sandy. They'd never had no idea. She didn't look on her Facebook. She didn't do a cold reading. She had no earthly idea. But Sandy was clearly communicating with us that she was going to be at that service and was telling us, this is a sign that I'm giving you to let you know that I'm going to be there with you. And that was one of the many I've had probably hundreds of readings, and I can tell you, including John Edward and John Holland and others, and I can tell you this: they are real. If they're a real, they have a gift that a lot of us don't have. Does that story sound familiar, or way out there? Am I whacked?
It sounds familiar, and I was clapping because we were taught by Dolores Cannon. There are two things. The first thing is be careful on contacting the spirit when it has just left the body, because typically the spirit, when it leaves the body, it has to go be repaired. It's been a tough lifetime living so cramped in the body, and when they leave the body, they're going to the spiritual realm, and they're using energy to repair some of the spirits. Some of them are killed in sudden car accidents. Some of them are shot, robbed, raped, and then murdered. And it's traumatic on the spirit when it leaves the body. And Dolores warned us when we're doing past life regression, if a client wanted us to tell them, let's give it a little while. Number two, Dolores said that when spirits leave the body, she's had a lot of experience with it, that they're oftentimes busy. And you just said the exact same things. And they are busy meeting family. They're busy meeting friends. They're being welcomed back. And she explained the spiritual realm. And ladies and gentlemen, this is not Dolores Cannon out of her head. These are thousands of patients, of clients she's had under hypnosis that are telling her these things. And she's recorded. That's why she has about 20 books. She's recording these things, and she's having these highly, highly intelligent conversations with these spirits and with these beings about what's going on. And she has a book called Life After Death, one of the best books I've ever read in my life. But these spirits are going home. They're going home to family. They're going home to people they hadn't seen in a while. They're being welcomed back. And how was the experience? It's almost like, Kevin, and we know this, that this is just a movie, a matrix for them. They come in, they incarnate, they energize these avatars with the energy of the spirit. Our bodies have all this electricity inside of it, and that's not something that we're taught. But our bodies are charged with electricity, and they power these brilliant biological computers that we call the human body. And as long as the body is set to expire at a certain period of time. And Dolores had interviewed one lady, and when she brought her off the cloud, she says, "Where are you?" I don't know. She says, "Do you have hands? Do you have feet?" "No." "Look around you. What do you see?" It's just white. It's white everywhere." "It's white everywhere?" "Mm-hmm." "Well, move around a little bit. Can you feel anything? Can you touch anything?" "No." "Are you hurt? Does the body feel male or female?" I feel both." "What do you do next?" "Well, I'm just going to lay here and relax. I'm so tired. I was cramped up in that body." And she was old. That body was old. I was so ready to get out of it. Look at that body. It's old. Can you imagine that? So you have someone in trance. You're trying to figure out some things about them that's bothering them in their lifetime. We always are taught that once we finish with the client, we have to take them to the last day of their life if we're doing past life regression. So we have the client experience the last day. And then if it's too much for them, we'll say, you don't have to experience this again. You can come watch it with me. Can you do that for me? Yes. Come watch it with me. So tell me what happened. She's dying. She's old. That body is just old. It was just time. And I was cramped up in that body. And it's so amazing to hear that. But when Dolores asked her, well, you're going to rest? Is that what you're going to do? Yes, I'm tired. I'm just going to rest. It's just so comfortable here. It's so warm. And everybody loves me. She said, well, who is everybody? Everybody, duh. I mean, she didn't say duh, but she's like, everybody, my family, all of my friends, everybody's here. Well, what about your family and your friends that you left? Oh, they'll be here soon. We're all there for a purpose. We're all there to learn. We're all there to learn. And then our time's up. And then we come home. So those are some of the excerpts in her book. And when you talk about, does that resonate with me? Yeah, it resonates with me big time.
Let me tell you one more story real quick because we're going to run out of time. By the way, go to jasonmedlock.com, get his book, Empowered by Consciousness, and visit him. And he can reach out to him, and he can help you in a myriad of ways.
Yes.
My brother passed away 3 years ago, last month. And my sister called me the day he died. It was 8:15 in the morning, and I generally don't wake up all that early. So she called me, and he said, well, Randy had stage 4 lung cancer, and so it was expected, and it was just a matter of us waiting. And so she said he passed away today, and about an hour ago. And I said, well, thank you very much, and talked for a minute. And then I put the phone down, and I just went back to sleep for a couple of moments. And then I had a dream. You'll appreciate this. I had a dream, and I was standing in a room with a bunch of beautiful people. They were all young. They were all very, very happy. And it was like it was a party. And my brother had the most unique kind of hair. He had an auburn brunette hair that would flow down. And I was watching the people come into the room, and I see this person walk in, and he had my brother's hairstyle exactly as he did when he was in his late 20s, early 30s. And then he sat down, and I recognized him. He was my brother, and he had these people that were surrounding him and thanking him and loving on him because and of course there were beautiful girls, and they were had their hands around his neck and stuff like that. And that's how I know that I did not have to grieve for him, because he was telling me, hey man, I'm cool. I'm here. This is it. So,
yes.
So was I just dreaming, or did that really happen?
No, the subconscious mind, people wonder, why I dreamed this because I watched this movie. No, the subconscious mind only shows you things that are for the greater good of all. And when you see images like that, it's showing you for a reason. It's showing you that he's okay. Secondly, what you said that was so true. Typically, the spirit projects themselves the way that you desire to see them the most. In his 20s, 25 years old, looking good. And when you pass away, that's how you will see different people in your family. When you go through this portal of light, and they're there to greet you, they'll be young. They'll be in the construct in your mind on how you see them. That's exactly how they'll look. But no, you're absolutely right.
Well, and it made me feel a ton better, because I now know that he is safe. He is happy. He's good where he is. He's understands things a little bit differently now than he did when he was alive, which is all that well and good. Well, Jason, we're going to run out of time, but you're going to have to come back, and we're going to have to talk more.
We got so many other things. Psychedelics, that's an interesting topic, but yes, I'll come back. Absolutely.
I appreciate that, because we're talking with Jason Medlock. Go to his website again, which is jasonmedlock.com, and hire him. If you want to quit smoking, he can get that done for you. If you want to have him repair your marriage, he can get that done for you. He can do anything for you, because hypnosis is an amazing thing.
Yes.
We've got about 30 seconds, Jason. So anything that you'd like to say before we go?
Well, I just like for people to trust, relax, and discover. Trust everything around you when you're trying to get a service like hypnosis. You have to trust and you have to relax to receive the help that you know that you need. And then after that, discover the pathways, the forgotten pathways, the inspiring exploration of your life. Discover how you can increase, anything that you want in your life. And those are the words that I want to leave: trust, relax, and discover.
And be kind to one another, because each other's all we've got. We'll see you Monday at 3 o'clock.